Hello, what's up? I'm going to just break down some movement basics that I work with. So the first one we're going to kind of cover is the heart. Of course, we always start at the heart. A lot of the time when you hear to open the heart, there's this instant pulling of the shoulders back, this beaming forward of the front of the chest. And as a consequence, when that happens, we tend to close the shoulder blades. There's this retraction of the shoulder blades so they come together, and almost a collapsing in the lower back. So by pushing forward the front, we collapse the back. And when we think about the heart, we want to think in a more expansive way. So thinking about the heart sitting in the center of your chest, in the center of your rib cage. And to open the heart is not only to open the front of the heart, but also to open the back of the heart and the sides of the heart. So this circumferential expansion of the entire rib cage from the inside outward. So we want to hold spaciousness, expansion, and openness on all sides, essentially. What that looks like is if we come into all fours, and so hands and knees, we're going to take the hands as wide as the mat or as wide as your shoulders, whatever makes more sense. And the hands are going to land ahead of the shoulders so that the wrists land ahead of the shoulders. There's a slant in the arm. The knees stack underneath of the hips, the top of the feet press down and drag back just a little bit so that we get this low hollow in the ankle. This connects us into the back line of our leg, but we'll talk more about that later. And so we can just sort of land here. The melting of the heart is a common cue when we come into this place, which kind of looks like this, where we pull the shoulders together and the heart melts downwards. This kind of isn't very supportive for your back. And so what we're missing here is that fullness of the whole rib cage, the whole expansion of the heart. So instead of allowing the heart to collapse towards the mat, push the ground away and really protract the shoulder blades. So we feel the expansion. There's this broadening, this spreading of the shoulder blades wide. So when we press the mat away and we find this radiance through the back of the heart, the whole rib cage is expanding wide on all sides. Root the hips back, lengthen into the belly. These little groins here, we call them hollowed when we hold the creases in the groins. Hips root back wide, keep the butt lifting up versus tucking down. So we hold the softness in the belly, and then pull the ribs forward. The objective here in this little pulsing forward and back is to maintain the alignment of the spine. So the hips pull back and wide, the heart stays full, all sides expanding from the inside out, and the crown of the head reaches forward. And so kind of simple here, but it's hard to learn to isolate the parts of the back. We want the spine to stay aligned. So what that means is we want to honor our curves. The lower lumbar and the cervical, so the lower lumbar right here, the cervical right here, we want them to move in with their lordotic curve, which is a slightly inward curve. And the mid-spine, the thoracic spine, right through here into the shoulder blades and down until the lumbar, we want that to hold its kyphotic curve. So that is a slightly upward moving curve, which is why we're pressing the fullness into the back, into the rib cage, rooting the hips back, softening the belly, and lifting the chin to open the throat, which honors all the curves of the back. Okay, let's begin to glide into the side body. Root the hips back and wide, press down the mat, hold the fullness in the back as you glide side to side. Just feel and experience the side body opening. Okay, begin to pulse into the right side, just staying consistent, little pulsing, creeping open the right side line. Keep pressing the mat away. Left ear can gently cascade towards the left shoulder, or a gentle dropping down towards the left shoulder. And then when you pulse wide towards the right side next time, drop your chin along the chest, press down the mat, roll through the mid-back, coming all the way over to the other side, root the hips back, and begin to pulse length into the left side. Little creeping open, hips root back, soften the belly, keep pressing the mat away. And the next time your ribs puff wide towards the left side, drop the chin along the chest, round through the back, press the mat away, really feel your shoulder blades protract. And then come back down, root the hips back in, little pulses into the right side one more time. So this creeping open, this peeling open of the right side from the groin all the way into the ribs. Next time you puff wide towards the right side, lower the chin along the chest, press down the mat, broaden through the back. And then root the hips back and pulse in to your left side last time. Okay, and then we'll come back to the pulsing forward and back. Hips root back wide, keep the butt lifting up, belly is soft, and then pressing down as you come forward. So pushing the ground away to keep the fullness through the back of your heart. Whole heart expanding wide. The chin is lifted, the throat is open, and the crown of the head reaches forward. Okay, sit your hips way back, hold them back here. Peel your right knee open to the side, place your paw right there to the mat. Kickstand the left foot out just a little bit. Hips sit back and wide, big rise into your left side. Hips pulse back, soften the belly, rise up into the left ribs. Little pulses here, opening into the left side. Through the rising of the left ribs, we find a lightness in the left fingertips. The hips are moving, the belly stays long. Lift the chin out of the throat. And take a big stretch. Reach your left arm forward and long. Light fist. Imagine this fist is pressing into perhaps a hand and giving it a little bit of resistance. The hips root back. The belly stays soft and open. Lift the chin, open the throat. One more pulse. And come back through center. 2 hands to the mat. Lower your knee down. Pulse through the middle, root the hips back and wide, ribs pull forward, little pulsing forward and back. Next time your hips sit way back, we will hold them back here. Peel your right knee open to the side, place your paw to the mat. Kickstand the left foot out just a little bit, hips root back and wide, big rise up into your right side. Hips sit back, soften the belly, rise into the ribs. Little pulses here, just creeping open the right side line. We're just moving the hips root back, the belly stays long and open, lift up the chin. The more we rise through our right ribs, the lighter we get on our right fingertips. Take a big stretch, reach your arm forward and long, lengthen the whole side body. Hips root back, belly is soft, reaching. You can imagine that resisted quality of the hand pressing into a fist. Reach it open. And come back through center. Hands and knees. We'll tuck the toes, lift the knees up to hands and feet. So, a little different than a downward dog. The wrists are ahead of the shoulders. So we have this slant in the arm. But we're holding the fullness in the back of the heart versus collapsing here. We're really pressing the mat away to hold that protraction in the back of the heart. The knees nice and bent, paws connected, feet wide, almost as wide as the mat, at least as wide as your hips. So paws connected, nice big bend into the knees, and then send your butt back wide up and high into the sky to lengthen into the back line of the leg. So the butt is wide, the knees are resisting externally, there's a length in the back line of the leg, and we're pressing the mat away to hold the fullness through the rib cage. Rib cage, all sides expanding wide, pulse forward and back, hips root back, heart pulls forward. Bending, keep the butt high, reach the ribs forward, press down the mat, hold the protraction of the shoulder blades, widening, broadening, expanding. And crown of the head reaches forward, the hips resist back, connect into the feet, the paws press down and out to the side. As the heart pulls forward, the feet can resist backwards like you're kicking dirt backwards. Okay, externally rotate your right hand just a little bit, toes and knees twist to the left. Sit the hips towards the heel and extend into the legs as you rise into the left ribs. Hips sit back and wide, eyes towards the left fingertips, soften the belly and rise into the ribs. Bending and extending through the legs, the hips root back, soft belly, rising ribs. Lift the chin, open the throat. Take one more pulse. Okay, come back through center. Little shift of your hips side to side. Strong press of the mat away. Hold the fullness in the back of your heart. Okay, other side. Externally rotate the left hand just a little bit. Toes and knees twist to the right. Sit the hips towards the heel. Big rise up into your left side. Hips pulse back and wide. Extend into your rise, lifting up the space underneath the right armpit. Lift the chin, open the throat. Bending and extending, keep the toes connected. Bend, root the hips back, soften the belly open, rise into the ribs. And take one more pulse. And back through center. Okay, hands plant strong, shorten your stance just a little bit. Eyes look forward, take a couple hops. Hopping with an open belly, push the ground away. Keep your eyes looking forward of your hands, knees at a 90 degree. Push down to lift up, eyes forward, open belly. Land down into a deep squat, heels narrowing in towards each other, heels hovering and knees high. Hands forward, just shift your hips side to side or your knees side to side, I guess I should say. Okay. Hands forward, narrow your knees, sit back, and just take a pause. That's all for this little shorty. I'm trying to keep these guys as short as I can. It's a struggle. It's a struggle, is real. But yeah, I guess the key aspect of that little teaching is just becoming more aware of the whole rib cage expanding wide to hold space for the whole heart to be open versus just the front heart. So we want to also pay attention to the back heart, opening and widening all sides. And this supports our spine, so this supports our alignment. When we hold the spaciousness of the whole rib cage expanding wide, we create space for the thoracic spine to be in its happiest potential curvature. When this spine has space to be in its full curve, the lower lumbar and the cervical can move into their natural curves as well, really embracing that natural curvy-S alignment. Well, thank you.